Hi, I'm Anthepriz and I like to show you today something what I have done the last year. This is quite a long history that I had like to tell you today. And this is based on a history which my interest from the beginning is synthesizers and what you can do, the sounds. And when I was 12 years, I have played for a couple of years, and I have get these copies of synthesizers. What at that time, 1985, you see here it's about, Fairlight, Jupiter, Roland Jupiter 8, Prophet 5, and so on, Minimoog. And here we have also Hans Zimmer in this. This book is written by the producer of a famous English group. I don't know what his name just now. When I read this book when I was 12, these copies I mean, I don't understand. But now I understand something, the most of it. I think maybe I don't understand everything, but now I understand more. And I continue with my music hobby. And when I was 13, I made my first song. The synthesizers I always have been interested in. When I was 15, I get some money to buy one Roland U20. That was actually my first synthesizer, even if you don't today maybe say that it is a synthesizer, is a Rumpler today, but something you can do a lot of it if you don't have nothing in the beginning. And then after a few years ago, 2018, I have get so many synthesizers, so I feel that I was quite happy with it. And I have also a library on how to find good sounds on it, the sound presets, but also own sounds I have made. So it was about 12,000 sounds that I feel that it would be good to have control of this. About 23 synthesizers I have at that time. But the last year I bought some new synthesizers. And how many? I will tell you which one I have bought. But the first, I have to tell you which synthesizers I have at 2018. And it was Access Virus TI2 Desktop Edition, Clavier Nordlead 3, Dave Smith Instruments Pro 2, and Sonic ESQ1. I possibly can record my screen so you can see which synthesizer I have on this 12,000 sounds. I feel that was quite good. You can see here on the list on the screen here. So I also have some expansion cards for the U20 and also 7 expansion cards for the XV5080. I bought some more synthesizers, and why I did that I will explain for you. These 12,000 sounds I have before have now increased with 67%, 8,000 more sounds. So it's about 20,000 sounds. And that I have now find is suitable for my music. And some of them are much better than others. So this I have control over. I see the potential of synthesizers and program my own sounds, but the own sounds is not the best. If you already have some sounds that you like, you don't have to program more if you don't need the specific sound. And it's good to have control over your presets too, because if you have to program your own sounds, you can pick up one similar preset and go from there. So the synthesizers I have bought from the summer 2020 is about this one. Quite many EMU synthesizers, and I will explain why. The Morpheus from EMU, also Orbit V2 1990 also called, and then the Orbit 3 with some expansions cards in it, ROM card. The Proteus 1 and Proteus 2000 with some ROM cards. Percussion, the drum module, the Ultra Proteus, Vintage Keys Plus, and then a Korg Trinity 3R rack, also by a plugin of Korg Triton, because it seems to be the same as the real synthesizer, and I don't have actually need for the synthesizer. No, it's the sound I need, and it's no difference. I can live with that. My K2000 I had before have been broken, so we're very sorry about that, and therefore I buy some new keyboard versions to have spare and fix the broken one. I also bought 2 module version with the sampler and some other sound cards in it. So I have possibly the K2000 sounds all my life, if someone more will be broken. I also bought expansion card for the XV-JV series. I have put that one in my JV 1080. The pop expansion I have realized that maybe I need that, and possibly you can see that it was not a bad choice. For my XV-5080 I also bought the drum kits SRX01 because one reason for that. As always, I like Espen Craft's videos, and I see that Espen's 32 patches for my JX3P was phenomenal good, so I bought that, and that is a good compliment to my own sounds. I also bought a Waldorf Microwave 1 Rev B for the nerd. Yamaha FS1R, also a good compliment to since I already have. And when I go through my old synths, I get some more interesting sounds that I have added to my library. So now I want to show you a little bit of this, why this synthesizer was a good compliment for me, and I would tell you the background of it. When I begin with synthesizers and make some songs in the 90s, I was very excited to make something very big and know how to use the synthesizers like the most professional producers and songwriters did at that time. That's the reason I like to have a good start in my understanding. I have made about 60-70 songs today that is available on streaming platforms, but that is quite, I cannot say bad, but I can say that it is some of the old things I have in my head, and I have liked to finish that and then go further and learn. I like to learn about how did the composers and producers on the 90s, and I like to understand everything what they did to then go further on myself again. I usually look on to improve my skills, to look at the internet, YouTube and so on. I like to go back a little bit and start from, say, 1995 or something like that, and then go from there and see what I can learn from the beginning, because I think the 90s, possibly the 80s was the beginning for me, but most the 90s I think. So I like to go from there and then improve myself to my own future, because what skills I liked to have in the 90s, I like to have that skill first and see what I can do with that to get my first basic knowledge of professional music, composing, creating that type of music. And I'm specifically very interested in the music empire of Sweden that many knows as the Cheiron Studio, with Dennis Pop and Max Martin and others worked there in Stockholm in the 90s, and they ended in the end of the year 2000. So I'm very excited about to check out what they did and see what I can do with this equipment I have now bought for this further sound library increase. And what synthesizers they used in Cheiron, it was very, very different synthesizers that came. You don't have to have every of these synthesizers they use to get the Cheiron sound, but it's a good start to have some of them. Maybe some of you have seen a list of what synthesizers they have at Cheiron, but it was actually more than that. For example, the EMU Morpheus, you can maybe say it was actually not on the list, but I can see that Jörgen Elofsson had one of those in his rack on one photo on internet. You can also hear in the songs some sounds they use, but it's not on the list that they use actually that synthesizer. And then maybe some of more of those synthesizers were private owned by Max Martin. Maybe some other people or the people staff work there bring synthesizers to the Cheiron studio and make some interesting sounds for a couple of songs. And for example, Dennis Pop seems to have a lot of Roland U20 or like that type of sound in the early 94, 95. So I like to show you what I have found in this investigation and the synths I have bought just now. I can say that it was a tough job to get place for all the synthesizers in my studio. You can see here on the picture, this is my web page, and I have a picture on the studio. That was all for now. Thanks for watching.